What is up, guys? Welcome on back to TK's Garage, and it looks like we have some major news in terms of tariffs and the big three. A lot of people don't like to consider Stellantis part of the big three anymore because, they're effectively a European company. They just own American brands. I understand that. I understand where you're coming from on that, but here's the news. I reported this a couple weeks ago. I talked about Antonio Filosa was working out a deal with the president on tariffs. All right, now they had a deal previously and they kind of effed that up, but Filosa wasn't the CEO yet, and that had to do with moving products from Mexico to the United States. Like, the president doesn't want stuff being built in Mexico or Canada. He wants American cars to be built in America. All right, so I can agree with him on that 100%, and I'm sure every other UAW member that watches these videos will agree with that too. That said, they have negotiated a tariff deal with the president, and led by Antonio Filosa. This is what I'm being told. No, Barr didn't have anything to do with it. Jim over at Ford had some input and evidently has a good relationship with the president. But evidently President Trump's not a fan of General Motors right now. But with Filosa leading the way, which I also have to be honest. He's only been the CEO for a quarter, and I like the direction that the company's going. And when I say the company, part of that, or all of that, for real, is Tim Kuniskis's thing, because he's taking care of the American brands. So when it comes to that, I get it. But I have to give him credit where credit's due, man. He's looked at the market. He's not an idiot. He knows what customers want, and they're finally listening to what customers want. That's why you're seeing Hemi in every damn thing. Okay, is it the most powerful engine, the most efficient? No, it's not. But it's what consumers want, and if you build what consumers want, guess what? They'll buy the shit. It just is what it is. So now we have this tariff deal that's coming down, and there's all kinds of news today. I think Diddy just got sentenced to 5 years in prison or whatever. The news has been crazy today. There's all kinds of news, but so this one's getting kind of pushed under the wayside. But it looks like it's going to be a done deal that Stellantis, Ford, and General Motors will have tariff deals in place with the president, where some manufacturing can take place in Mexico and in Canada. All right, getting some of that USMCA, passing, but vehicles that might have been manufactured, I'll give you an example. There were some Jeeps and stuff that were going to be manufactured in Egypt. That shit's a wrap. And basically what they're doing is they're moving all of that foreign production of U.S. brands, if it was in Egypt, if it was in Brazil, for example, wherever, they're moving that back to the United States. So that's a win. They're also going to move a big chunk of production from Mexico, or the Saltillo plant, in terms of the 2500 HDs, 3500s, and there'll be no 1500s built down there, back to the United States. We've been reporting on that for 6 months. Told you so. But what's going to happen there is basically the president gives them a pass on if it comes to capacity. So right now, SHAP is running at Sterling Heights Assembly Plant is running at ball to the wall emergency hours. They can't get enough people to work enough hours to build enough trucks there. Okay, so in a situation like that, which I know what you're going to say, well, then move some of that stuff to WTAP, right, or Warren Assembly. I agree with you. Warren Truck Assembly Plant, they should do that, and I think they are doing that. You've already seen stuff coming out from the UAW talking about an announcement was coming this month in October. It's going to happen. And I think it's going to be something that sits on that same platform as the Wagoneer. It's going to be another Ram. So, maybe it's a Ram SUV. Maybe it's the TRX. I don't know. I know for a fact that they're definitely getting another product. And I'm hoping it's a 2500 HD. I'm hoping it's the 2500, you know, not the diesels, but I think they're just the big gas engines with the 6.4 in it. Because it's time for them to get some shifts back there. It's time for them to recall some of those workers that have been sitting out for a year. And I think this is the route. And I think this will be a massive win, at least politically, for the president, because the president, you know, the president's going to come out and say, hey, look, I got, you know, 1,500 people their job back in auto manufacturing in Michigan. And what does that mean? It might not seem like a lot to you guys, but when it has to do with people's work, their livelihood, how they make money, people don't care if they're a Democrat or Republican. If somebody saves your job or gets you a, you know, they make a deal which benefits you, you know, where you get your job back and you have work stability, they're probably going to vote for that person or that person's party or somebody that they recommend the next time around. And that's not lost on the president. So getting that deal done with Filosa and the other CEOs of the big three in Detroit, huge. So I think you'll see more news come out about that in the next 24 to 48 hours. I think it's just a major win, dude. It's such a major win. Not just for Stellantis, but I also think the quality, if they're building the cars here, they're building the trucks here, right? Which I know you're going to say, oh, they build stuff here now and it's shit. I hear you. They're getting better on the quality and getting better part manufacturers and stuff like that, and getting away from the Carlos Tavares effing disaster. So you just have to be patient on that. But I also feel like if they're building the engines here, they're building the trucks here, and it's going to take time to get that moved here. But if they build it here, I think the quality is going to be better than what you're getting built in Mexico right now. Sorry, just being honest. But let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below. Give the video a big thumbs up if you like what I do. Hit the subscribe button if you haven't already. And as always, stay petty, my friends.